Hi, this is the last video for Writing and Solving Equations 2. In this video, we'll take a look at geometry questions, and remember our goal, we use a variable for the thing that we know nothing about. So we're going to use the variable to represent our unknown, and for the first example, we're going to use the formula perimeter is equal to 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Knowing some of our basic formulas or having your formula sheet handy can help you with exercises that have to do with geometry. So here's the first example. The perimeter of a rectangular garden is 44 meters. The length of the garden is 8 meters longer than the width. What are the dimensions of the garden? So when they ask for dimensions, they want to know both the length and the width of this garden. I find the best way to go about geometry questions is to draw a picture first. Again, it slows me down, gets me focused, and I can visualize things better if I have a diagram that I can label. So we know the perimeter, which is our outside measure, in total is 44 meters all the way around. The length of the garden is 8 meters longer than the width. So we know something about the length, but we don't know anything about the width. So the width is going to be our x. So we can label our diagram with x to represent the width, and we can also label our diagram for the length. The length of the garden is 8 meters longer than the width. So it's going to be the width plus 8. Now that we have a labeled diagram, we can go ahead and use the formula perimeter is equal to 2 times the length plus 2 times the width in order to solve. We know the perimeter is 44 meters. And we know what the length is in terms of an algebraic expression. The length is x plus 8. So we're going to multiply that by 2 plus the width. And we know the width is our unknown. It's our x. At this point, we see that we need to distribute. We have brackets. Because we have to multiply the length by 2, we need to distribute the 2. So 44 is equal to 2 times x, which is 2x, plus 2 times 8, which is 16. And then in our second distribution, that's pretty basic. 2 times x is 2x. We see that we're in a situation where we have multiple terms with x's, so we can collect our like terms. So 44 is equal to 2x plus 2x is 4x, so collect those like terms, plus 16. Now we can go ahead and start to do the steps to isolate. We're going to subtract 16 from both sides, canceling out. I'm just going to write over here and up here. So 44 minus 16 is 28, is equal to 4x. And our last step is division by 4. That cancels. 28 divided by 4 is 7. 7 is equal to x. Now remember, the question wants the dimensions of the garden. So x is the width. So we have solved for that. The width is 7, and this is going to be 7 meters. And the length is the width, x, 7, plus 8, which is 15 meters. So the dimensions of this rectangle are 7 by 15. Now it's your turn. Try this example on page 278, and you can pause the video and check the solution if you need to. Okay, so we have perimeter of a rectangular yard. It's 110 meters. So I start to draw my rectangle right away. And I know that the perimeter is 110 meters. So I write that down for myself. The length of the yard is 5 meters less than 3 times its width. So again, we know something about the length, but we don't know much about the width. So our width is going to be our x. So I can even write that up here. Width is my x, and the length, now I need to read carefully, the length of the yard is 5 meters less than 3 times the width. So 3 times the width is 3x, and we're going to take away 5 from that, 5 meters less. So the length here is 3x minus 5. Again, we're going to use our formula. Perimeter is equal to 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. I suppose you could also add them double, right? So 2 of the lengths plus 2 of the widths. You could do it that way as well. But I'm going to start to put in my numbers. 110 for perimeter is equal to 2 times 3x minus 5 plus 2 times x, and again we're going to need to distribute here like we did in the previous example. 110 is equal to 6x minus 10 plus 2x. 110 is equal to 8x, I collect my like terms, minus 10, and now I'm going to isolate. I'm going to add 10 to both sides. And that is going to give me 120 is equal to 8x. And my final step is going to be division by 8. Divide by 8 on both sides. And so that's going to give me 15 is equal to x. So the width is going to be 15 meters. And the length, I'm going to use substitution, 3 times 15 minus 5, and I'm going to use BEDMAS. I'm going to multiply first. That's going to be 45 minus 5. The length is 40 meters. So the dimensions of this rectangle are 15 by 40. For the practice on pages 279 to 283, please make sure that you omit all the coin questions. So anything that has to do with nickels, quarters, etc., you're not going to do any of those. Coin questions we do not do at all in high school math prep.